on December 15th to order at 4:12 p.m. And we will get started with silent meditation and pledge.
All right, since I'm driving, we have Kyle Full Moon's going to help us out with the flag. Appreciate it.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
of the
United
United
States of
States
America,
of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, great.
Thank you,
and
Kyle.
I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor Nickerson, for roll call.
No problem. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I appreciate it. Member Webb.
Present.
Member Valencia is not here. She couldn't make it. Member Fruitstone is also not here currently. I don't think. No. Member Fruitstone's not here. Member Vice Chair McLean.
Here.
And Chairperson Carpenter.
Present.
Madam Chair, you do have a quorum. Madam Chair, for the record, I don't think I see Mr. Gladwin either. Do I see you, Gladwin?
Nope.
I don't see Mr. Gladwin. For the record, Madam Chair, you also have the mayor who acts as a liaison.
Perfect. Oh, wait, we have an attendee. Hang on. Oh, it is Mr. Gladwin. I'm going to move him over.
Okay, thank you.
So we do have, for the record, we have Mr. Gladwin
Mr.
with
Gladwin,
us.
the consultant. Thank you very much.
Let's see. I clicked promote to panelist. Okay, he's joining. There we go. Perfect. All right, welcome, Mr. Gladwin. All right, we'll jump right into approval of the agenda. Any changes to today's agenda?
I believe Vice Chair McLean wanted to add something, correct?
I can do it during good and welfare.
Okay. All right, hearing no changes. So, Mr. Gladwin, we can absolutely talk about whatever you'd like to discuss, but I don't think that we can have you formally add anything to the agenda.
Okay, maybe somebody will bring it up under new business.
But Mr. Gladwin, you can speak during good and welfare. There's two of them, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll talk on the first one. Thank
Perfect.
you.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda then, since no changes have been proposed by task force?
I move to approve the agenda.
All right. I hope Matt.
A second.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Perfect. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, the agenda is approved. And then minutes from the last two meetings, I believe.
If you guys, Madam Chair, haven't had a chance to read them, we can table them again if necessary. But if you had a chance to go through them, we can just.
I reviewed them, but I'm happy to table them if we need to.
I reviewed them also.
Okay. Kristen, do you want to move to?
Sure, I move to approve the minutes from the last two meetings.
Second.
Okay. Perfect. Hearing a motion in a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the last two meetings, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, Captain.
All right. All right. The minutes are officially approved. And now we can go to acknowledgement of visitors, special presentations. I'm going to hang on. We don't have anybody else, so I will just jump right to good and welfare and open it up to Mr. Gladwin. The floor is yours, Hugh.
Okay. Two things. One, very briefly, is just a quick update to the issue of maybe turning my house and such into a park. That has gone through a lot of changes. I had a long talk with Kristen about it at the Pelican Harbor. Yeah.
If you want to, if you want to go through that, what we could do is we can move to the agenda, Madam Chair, and we can just flip the two items, because that's item number 2, and he can just go into that and just do that.
Wait a minute, is it?
Yeah,
Let me-
that's item number 2 on today's agenda.
Okay,
So
well,
we can
that's
just flip
actually,
that.
now I've lost the agenda. There's so much stuff going on here. Okay. Oh, yeah, what I have to say on that will take 30 seconds, but there's another much more important item which I had sent you, Mr. Mayor, but I think it all got lost in the shuffle. And that's the South Florida Water Management District has put out their plan, their basic draft plan, which went out. I got it because I'm part of the LMS. It's out for public comment. It's a huge document. Well, not huge, 31 pages. But most of it has to do with the C7 canal, the processes we're in, how it's going to impact us, because that's their major project coming up.
What's the document, Mr. Gladwin? Sorry to interrupt you.
What I'd like to do, if you could just, let's put it on that agenda item, what the mayor said, if we could, because now that the meeting has started, I can send it to you as an email attachment. I'm free to send you an email during the meeting. So
Yeah, you can send us an email anytime. It doesn't have to be during the meeting.
Well, you need to see what it is, so, and then I'll briefly describe it, but the deadline for public comment is January 15th, which
Is it the
means,
sea level rise and flood resiliency plan?
yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you got that. I'm sure you've seen it with regard to your job, but
I got it, but we're planning on commenting as Everglades Law Center, but I haven't had a chance to review it yet either. So I'd love to get your thoughts.
yeah, okay. Well, let me send it. It's basically something for you to study and, but I'll send it now so everybody has a copy. And then if we could bring it up during that part of the meeting. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can bring it up during, on the agenda, we have to talk about your property.
Yes.
But we could review and bring that up during new business.
New business, yeah.
This thing completely changes the situation of my property, among other things, this document.
Okay, then we can talk about it during that. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Mayor Nickerson.
Sorry about that, Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, please, sorry.
Madam Chair, I would just suggest that since it's fresh on his mind and he started to talk about it already, we get to the agenda, we can easily just flip the items and we can go right into that item first. Since, he started and, I don't want to kill his momentum. So, he can just continue to go and talk about everything.
I just have to get the document to you.
Yeah, I think he just needed a second to find the document to send it to us.
Yeah, I have the email ready. I just have to send it. I have a million screens open right now.
So Hugh, do you want to take a second, do that? We'll do the shuttle. We'll start with the main agenda item. And okay, perfect.
Yeah, the momentum's there. Don't worry.
All right, so we'll jump into the main agenda with H1, El Portal free electric shuttle. And I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor Nickerson.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I appreciate that. So El Portal, and I'm going to get if Kyle, if I sent you an email, Kyle, because I'm kind of driving, so I can't really share my screen right now. It's kind of hard. But I sent you an email, Kyle, with 2 links. I mean, not 2 links, but 2 documents. I forwarded you an email a second ago. There's one that's a PDF. If you could share that, I'd appreciate it. If you can. But while he's doing that, hopefully Kyle hears me. While he's doing that, so we have a free electric shuttle that started in El Portal yesterday. And we did an email. I sent an email blast, or I had a clerk send an email blast. I wrote a letter for all the residents, and I attached the flyer to the letter. and we email blast it, and I'll be hanging that on everybody's door over the next couple of weeks also. Oh, I also started hanging the compost stuff on doors also. So I started doing that also, Madam Chair. But so it's good. It's going to be, so when I told you guys about last month, and it's in the minutes actually that I spoke about, I said, it'll start next month, which is this month. And so it's began, and it's good. It's an electric shuttle. It's a free shuttle. It's decorated like a peacock in the back a little bit. And it has, the 2 stops in front of Village Hall, in front of the nature trail, and then it goes downtown to the Brightline station area. And so it runs in the morning, noon, like a break around like I think from about like 1:30 to 3 or something like that for a couple of hours. But besides that, it runs that entire time in the morning and afternoon. And at the times and everything, it goes like from the Village Hall to the nature trail, and then down to the Brightline station downtown Miami, that area. Kyle, are you there, Kyle? I wanted to share the screen of the document to show you guys. Kyle's not there, I don't think.
So
Kyle,
you're breaking up a little bit, Mayor
Kyle,
Nickerson, so I'll just repeat it to Kyle if you can hear, if it's possible to share the free shuttle as a screen share. Just in case
thank you.
anyone was breaking up, yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. There should be 2 documents, Kyle, in the email and the PDF, if you could share that so they can see it. No? Hold on a second. See if I can do this real quick. Let's do this.
Do I have screen sharing abilities? Because I think I could share the email that I.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you. That's what I'm going to do, Madam Chair. I'm going to send it right over to you. Hold on a second. Just forward it. All right. I think I'm sending it to your right email. Yeah, I got you. Okay. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send it to all of you guys. All right, Elizabeth, you might get it twice, Madam Chair, but it's all good. All right.
So I haven't gotten it yet, but is it the email
Do we have
that the clerk sent out? Because I have that just from, being on the El Portal listserv.
Yeah. I sent it to the clerk, and so she email blasted it yesterday. So if you look at the documents, I mean, one is just the letter resident, and the other is the PDF document is the actual flyer that I just wanted to kind of show you guys.
Okay.
So
Yeah, here. I can open it up for you real quick. Okay. Is that working? Are you all seeing my screen?
Yes, I do.
Yep, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay. Is this what you wanted up?
So you guys see from yeah, so if you see from there, the times are right there. It shows you the map. Yeah, he got it, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. Kyle said you had to step away for a second. You said sorry. No problem, Kyle, my brother. I got you. So you guys see the map. You guys see the times there. This is all as everything that I'm trying to do these days, myself and the manager. This is all of this is of no cost to the village residents. This is all funded through a grant that we received. So I believe the grant funds for 2 years. It's through 2 years, and after the 2 years, we can renew the grant. But what we want to do, we want to see about how many people actually ride it and things like that, because the people that did the grant said that if we do have a significant number of residents, or anybody can ride it, it's free, but if you're at any of those stops, you can ride it. But if we have a significant number of individuals riding it, then we can easily probably get that grant renewed, we were told. So it's of no cost to the village residents, but it's a good situation. It's all electric vehicle. It's funny because when we were going through that, trying to pick up everything out, they were trying
to. We lost you, Mayor Nickerson. We can't hear you. Are you there? You're breaking up.
Hold on.
All right. I think it's better now.
Am I breaking up?
It's better now. Yes, you're back.
Okay, I'm back. I'm good. Okay. So we get a significant number of of passengers on this shuttle, we'll be good. I think we can get the grant renewed.
We lost you again.
Pretty fairly easy. Like me and the man was like, am I here? Am I good?
You can get the grant renewed fairly easily if we have a lot of ridership.
Yes, and then they were trying to push us to get the gas vehicles, so they only had a limited number of the electric vehicles. But myself and the village manager fought hard for the electric vehicle, and I was like, Manager Lou, I was like, there's no way that I'm a part of sustainability task force or I'm the liaison and we get a gas vehicle. It's not going to happen. So we fought hard. They kind of hated us for a little while, but we got the gas vehicles. So
that's amazing. I think that's fantastic. Thank you for fighting that fight. I think that's really, really important.
What's up?
And really,
yes.
I was just saying it's fantastic that it's electric. Thank you for fighting that fight. I think that's a really good look for El Portal, to the community and the greater area as well.
Absolutely. I wouldn't dare do that with you guys being, my friends and my coworkers and my compadres. It would not happen. I would not let that slide. So I see Mr.
I think you're muted, Matt. You're not muted.
Yeah, I got it.
We can't hear you.
I was just asking, where do they charge? Is it down at Miami Central, or are they building a charging station up near the village?
No, they charge down in Miami Central. And it's not just one, so it's multiple of those, right? So they run, it's not just one all day. There's like 3 they have. So
is this a company that services a lot of areas in Miami-Dade?
They service a significant amount, but not a lot. It's not a lot. It's a significant. They do a few municipalities, well, more than a few, but it's not a lot.
Gotcha. Mr. Gladwin?
Yeah, I had one question. Sorry.
You guys,
can I talk or?
Yeah, go ahead. I think there's just a little bit of a delay, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So, this is advertised as a link to the Brightline station. So I saw it at first. I thought, am I ever going to use Brightline? I do want to use it and at least try it out since it goes right next to my house every minute or so. But actually, I presume you could just take it to go downtown. I mean, Brightline Station is the absolute center of downtown. It's where, all the buses start and everything else, so to have a free ride right to downtown without having to park and a ride back again, I would take it a lot. So I just wanted to be certain that we can do that we can use it to go downtown. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I think because at least when the service was it was first mentioned, I think, at one of your meetings a while ago when everything came out, and it seems like it's just in general a shuttle for the village for anybody to ride to its destination. And this just happens to be the first destination. But unfortunately, the mayor is off again. So he's the one that can answer that question. So I'll just put it there.
I think that's a really good point from an advertising perspective, because I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, that's great when I take the Brightline. But then, it took me a second beat to be like, oh, you're right. That's the station that connects to the Metro Mover, Miami-Dade buses.
Exactly.
I think that's a great point.
So
Mayor Nickerson, did you catch any of that? Yeah, well, he'll catch it later when he.
Yeah, if he comes on, I'll just repeat my question, or it'll be in the minutes. Yeah, and he can send out. I mean, what I'll do is I'll just communicate with the manager.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. It does say. I think I think that's maybe in the email, but the flyer does say free shuttle to and from downtown Miami. So maybe we can point out that connects to the Metro Mover, the Metro Rail, and the buses.
Yeah, we don't have to use it just to get on Brightline.
All right. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. So I heard Hugh start talking, but everything he was saying was cutting out for me. And I got disconnected like twice too. So what was I heard something about
the question is, can we use the
answer that? That's what I heard.
My question is, can we use the shuttle just to go downtown when it runs? We don't have to just use it for Brightline.
Yeah, I mean, you can use it. I mean, if you look at the map, when she shared the screen, it's that stop at Miami Central Station.
Yeah.
So it stops at Miami Central Station from there, which is a hub. So you can go anywhere you want to.
Exactly. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can go anywhere you want to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The only I was just noticing that the return time is at 5:30 p.m. Like it starts at 3:30 to 5:30. If there's like interest in like a later time or moving the times, is that something that the company would work with us on? That just seems a little early as the latest time to leave downtown.
And instead of 5:30, so you would want like not 5:30, but like 6 instead of 5:30, or you want the 5:30 and 6?
Well, I'm not sure how many times they've like contracted for, but instead of like, it's 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, I think it would make more sense to do 4:30, 5:30, 6:30. If you had to only have, 3 equally spaced by an hour. But then it screws up the arrival time as well, the pickup time in the morning. I don't know. What is everyone else's thoughts on that? That just seems early.
That did occur to me if I was working downtown, or if I was this could be used for kids who go to New World. It's like 2 blocks away from that station, but that's that's a challenge for some people who work downtown to get to a shuttle by 5:30.
I'll ask and see what they say.
I agree, because like I was thinking of taking it to go see the ballet on December 30th. Is it in action already? Or is it starting January 1st? Anyway, but the matinee would have been at like 3:00. So I was gonna Brightline to Palm Beach, and then need a way back. So, because the bright line doesn't stop in El Portal. So that puts me past 5:30 because that ballet is 3 hours long. So, like I would use it on, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people working in downtown end up working a little bit later than that too.
But even some,
Yeah, like I said, I'll ask. I'll make sure I ask.
All right. Anything else on this? Okay, we'll jump back to Mr. Gladwin then for the discussion about your property conversion and the district flood and resiliency plan that you, I think, have emailed us.
okay, maybe while you're checking that, shall I start with the property thing?
Sure, whatever is best for you, because as you said, they're tied, so I think we can fit them both in this item.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very briefly, I think you all gave a lot of really good feedback at the last meeting, and towards the end, the mayor raised some really significant points, which I'd been thinking about, and then which ties in with what Kristen and Adam and I in the Little River Conservancy have been talking about, which is, sure, the village probably could quite easily get funds to buy the property from the Trust for Public Land, but the sort of idea is, so who would run it? They have to have the funds to run it. The village would not have those funds, and sort of the idea was maybe the Little River Conservancy would get grants to do that. But it was also hanging over it a lot of time pressure, because I felt like I had this choice that I either had to sell the property within the year or figure something out. So what's happened is I realized that time schedule was crazy. And in the meantime, Adam and Kristen and I have been discussing that the Little River Conservancy, we really need to regroup and think through what our long-term plans are, and get more people on our board and, that have more time than the three of us do. So at the same time, I was able to figure this crazy, but it turned out great refinancing scheme that enables me to not have to sell the property right away. So there can be, it kind of secures the future things I need, but it means we could now have a period of time when, when we work out these plans for the Conservancy, during that time, we might be living there, we might be moved to our continuing care place, but rented it out, so that, I think that will happen. I don't know if you wanted to make a comment on that, Kristen, or not, just about the Conservancy or.
Well, I think just for the purposes of this meeting, it gives us more time to come up with a long-range plan for the property that contemplates both Hugh's needs and how we would transform the property in a sustainable way to, more of a cultural or environmental institution. So I think that's the important part.
Yeah, and I've been reworking my proposal that, in a sense, now becomes sort of my vision, connecting to the place to one possibility for a long-term plan for the Little River Conservancy. So it'll be sort of a document more for Adam and Kristen and I, but where the input of the task force and the village would be tremendously important. Okay, so if there aren't any further questions on that, let me move to the other thing. Okay.
Can I say one more thing, Hugh? Can
Yeah.
I just say one more thing for the record on that?
Yeah.
So I think that whatever the long-term outcome is, it's very clear that, and I think we all know this, but just to say it, like, it's going to involve lots of collaboration between lots of entities,
Yeah.
public and private. And so, I mentioned the Seabird Station. I'm going to talk a little more about that in Good and Welfare or New Business or whatever, Good and Welfare probably. But just like one of the things that just has become immensely clear is that, whatever happens on Hughes property in the future, it's going to be intimately tied to the South Florida Water Management and the county and the resilience efforts and the village and whatever. So, I fully expect the village and to be connected to whatever the future of this is. So just because we're tabling the initial idea doesn't mean that there isn't a long-term, involvement or collaboration with the village down the road. We just need a little more time to put something together. So that's it.
Okay, so can we go now to the Water Management District? Okay, so this I had it right in front of me. Okay, so this is the Water Management District Sea Level Rise and Flood Resiliency Plan. I got it because I'm on the steering committee of the LMS. And it went out, I think, to everybody in the local mitigation strategy and probably to the village. And it went out to all stakeholders like the Everglades Coalition and your firm, Chairman Carpenter. So, and it is up for, I meant to include the cover letter, but it is up for the deadline for public comment is January. And it's, as I say, a 36-page document, but it covers a huge amount of stuff, including the whole massive Everglades restoration that's going on, all kinds of other things. But the district, as you know, I mean, I have to if you're not up to speed on the sort of history of sea level rise in the district and Everglades stuff, I've been trying to put up documents on the web for you, and I will put up some more on this. But basically, the Water Management District has to deal with the fact that each canal basin and system, like ours is the C7, is not going to be adequate to drain inland areas of the county with sea level rise. It's already inadequate, as we well know, due to the flooding we get. But each foot of sea level rise takes away from the 5 feet of gravity drop we had some years ago. We're now down to about 4.5 feet. We're going to go up, sea level rise will go up 2 more feet by 2030, conservatively speaking. So, without that gravity drop to push water out, there's going to be an enormous flooding problem. So what they've done is, I forget the wording for it, but, they did the C4 canal, the Tamiami Canal already. That was the first big one. And now it's the C7. And the C7 level of service, I forget what it's called, process, has been going on, probably for 5 or 6 or 7 years now. And the first stage of it was a modeling and, a lot of workshops between the district and the resilience office that El Pertel started. The second phase of it is the Little River AAA from the county side. So the county's been working with us and everybody on that planning process. But at the same time, the district is working on all the engineering stuff. So if you read through it, you'll see that these plans, the very specific plans, are pretty specific about proposed budgets and what they're going to do and so on, you know, in the Little River Basin. And particularly given our talking about my property, they're proposing to spend $10 million on real estate purchases. That's in the plan. Well, that's, you know, it's not clear what that's for, whether it's to, some of it's going to be a discussion that's going on regarding high ground places, of which basically next to the river, there's really only my property and Pelican Harbor in terms of putting pumps there, access roads and things like that. So that's something to read. And I think I think a really important thing is for you guys to read that part of it and then go back to the document that you put together. The one where, you know, basically El Pertel through the task force said to the county, we really like the Little River AAA, and these are the things that really are good for us or not. But we're also like looking at long-term impacts on us of the fact that they're probably going to have to raise the flood levels in the river. You know, we've never heard, other than maybe it's going to go up to 6 or 7 feet or 5 or 6 or what that is. Well, in a sense, we said, what's going to happen? You know, what are you planning in these hydrological things? So this is their report, which is very, very vague in many details, but this is where the district is saying, this is what we're planning. You know, so I feel like you guys need to read it and sort of formulate a reply, and you can draw on me for help any way you want. I mean, you know, any one of you individually can work with me if I can help you in any way. But our reply should be framed in terms of that document that we already did. Are you all clear on what document I'm talking about?
Yes.
Is the right term for it. So that's one thing. There's a second thing that's really important, and it really hit home to me at the Pelican Harbor event, at which, by the way, Kristen was unbelievably eloquent, as always. I'm just following that and the wonderful video. I hope you've all seen the video she did with the Miami Herald. It's really fantastic. I'll send out the link again if it, so let me just see if I can say this. I feel like there's been a huge change at the Water Management District since the current government came in. You know, whether I'm a fan or not of the current governor of Florida is irrelevant to this. When he came in, he realized that if things continued the way they had been going under the previous governor, it was going to be catastrophic. You just can't ignore climate change. You can't let the whole financial structure of the state emergency management, where people didn't get paid for anything, like El Pertel and so on. So for the district, he simply fired the entire board of the Water Management District. So everybody in the management is new. I mean, they came in, I mean, they're relatively new. They came in about 5 months into Governor DeSantis's current term. And, you know, we kind of didn't know what to expect. but a lot of the stuff we've heard from them does sound good. On the boat ride that I went on, I mean, you went on, Kristen, learned stuff. The boat ride I went on where I was in the boat, where I did get a chance, not the boat that you were in, Mayor Nickerson, but I had a really good chance to talk to Brian Palacios about what's happening. And I think they really, they need to do what they need to do about flooding and sea level rise. They're also extremely aware of the crucial place of the canal and the basin system and bringing in all the pollution that's killing Biscayne Bay. And I felt like, at the Pelican Harbor event, Drew, the director, spoke. I think they really are trying hard to do good on this, but they're also, as Matthew in the boat said to me, yes, the future of Miami depends on stopping the pollution, the nutrient pollution, and saving the bay. We have no economy if that bay and fishing and tourism dies. We also have to deal with sea level rise and flooding. The amount of stuff that has to be done compared to the amount of money, is just incredible. But on the other hand, there's a ton of money coming down the road. So I think I was hoping I'd have time to write up notes and say this succinctly, but I think there needs to be, I think first we have to be really happy that they've made this change and they have this orientation. But I also think things are moving so fast for them that they're not really aware of the, they're not as plugged into the Little River AAA in the county. So I feel like, we've talked about having their resilience officer come to the meetings, but I think the way their Little River AAA is set up, that El Pertel and the task force can sort of have a leadership role and, helping them work to sort of tie things together with everything else and tie things together in terms of funding and stuff. And I will write up some comments. I'll just finally conclude by saying one thing that really worried me and required me to do something with regard to them, that even though on the steering committee of the LMS, and we've been reviewing, the steering committee has to review all the projects, and there's money has come through from COVID and it's not enough, so we had to make some decisions, but suddenly on the project list appeared two huge items, $50 million worth between them, from the Water Management District, which actually isn't a Miami-Dade County agency. That project should have gone through the County Office of Resilience. And it's like on the task force, I'm the oldest member. I've been there since 1990 something. So I was kind of the person who formulated the argument that those proposals weren't valid simply because the district wasn't a Dade County agency, even though I'm sure that money is going to go for the C7 project, and I'll try to bring that up, but I got worried that, oh my God, but it just says to me that we have to get active in the process. We have to, and be really encouraging them of, what they're doing, and educate ourselves, and kind of sort of in a way be political in a really good way. I mean, political in a way that, in some sense, El Pertal and you, Mayor Nickerson, have kind of shown the way to run the tightrope between Tallahassee and local interests, and make people see the big picture. And, in some ways, we have to encourage the district that they have to do that too, because, we're on the tightrope when it comes for money, but they're on the total tightrope of being an agency that, reflects not just the C7 Canal, but Everglades restoration, and all the state policies and everything else. So, anyway, so I'd like you to take a look at that. And then I think there's always this mechanism where I have this web page that is sort of like a briefing notes page for that some of you know about, a briefing notes page for the task force. And I think we worked through and cleared it that I can put anything up. I mean, anybody can, individually, you can send me an email. I can't reply to you. I mean, I can reply to you individually as long as I don't copy anybody else. And I always check with Mayor Omar, to make sure I'm doing it right every time I do one of these things. But, I can put up information on some of this history and so on. There already is a lot there.
That would be great, Q. If you have, if you're planning on making comments, I don't know when we're having our next task force meeting on January 5th. So maybe I know it's the holidays, but if we could all review that document before then, and then maybe talk about potentially sending comments, but, since the deadline's a little bit after that. But if you had comments in mind, Hugh, maybe you could post that. If you're planning on posting that on your website already, just, shoot us all a link so that we could all have the benefit of your expertise as we're, reviewing that document ourselves.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I do feel that it's very important that I don't send in comments, a little bit, because there's a conflict of interest in my position on the steering committee which affects funding. But most of all, because of what I just said, I think the task force right now, as the sort of us being in the center of the Little River AAA, has really sort of tremendous force in our comments. And I think they're going to get a lot of comments of people complaining about this or that, but I think, and what you said, Kristen, at the Pelican Harbor thing, beautifully incorporated a little bit of that too. We can put in comments saying, long term, this is what we need, but do it from a position of being tremendously supportive of what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it, I mean, constructive criticism, but from people who are at the center of the action. I don't know, maybe Kristen or the mayor has some thoughts on that too, but.
No, I understood. Maybe we can add that then, Mayor Nickerson, to the agenda for next week. Great. And I do want to just be cognizant of time. Does anybody have anything else, any questions for Hugh or anything else to add on this one?
No, I just want to encourage us to do the legwork, so that we actually can create in our next meeting, a fairly complete response, because the deadline is not that long after. What's the deadline actually? I mean, I don't think we're only going to get really one shot. So, we want to definitely make sure that everybody reads and that we come prepared to work on our next meeting about that.
Yeah, I mean, I will send out the deadline. I think it's January 15th, but, we can do the same kind of thing we did in the earlier document. I talked about it, which, there was discussion at a couple of meetings, and then there was a period of a month when, Elizabeth, Chairman Carpenter, and I got one-on-one, and I was drafting stuff and you were correcting it. So by the end of that period between us, and again, it was just between us, I think we did share with the mayor, we wound up with a draft of the document. So, and I think what you're saying is absolutely right, Kristen. I think we're going to have to go through that process before the January 5th meeting. So at the meeting, we can come out with a document. So, I will do what you say, Elizabeth. I will, put my ideas and kind of come up with some, at least questions like, what's our position on this, or we can start drafting something.
Okay, great. The problem, this actually brings us to our next point, which is the next meeting. Unfortunately, though, the problem I have is on January 5th, I'm going to be traveling to attend the Everglades Coalition Conference. So I can't make that meeting that day. But I think if we finalize something by the following meeting, I don't know if what everyone else's schedule is looking like.
Well, the problem is
The following meeting would be the 12th,
the 12th of February.
January.
January.
12th.
Just push
If we
it back
just
by
move the meeting a week.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. I don't know how much, I was wondering if maybe you could get involved in this too, Kristen. I mean, I know how busy you are, but you are.
Oh, no. No, I was expecting you. I mean,
You're very good at taking my chaos of words and instantly turning it into something good. Or clear,
Yes.
anyway.
yes.
Okay,
I would
so-
I would say that I can give you my thoughts first, or we can work on it first, and then as the Conservancy piece of it, and then you can work with Elizabeth
Yeah,
on
that's good.
shaping that.
Yeah, because obviously the Conservancy is going to want to comment too. Okay, so what that would mean if the meeting's on the 12th,
Can everyone make the 12th? Does that work with people's schedules?
I can.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can.
okay,
I can.
Yeah,
Okay.
we would,
great.
basically, Kristen and I would get it as close to a final draft as possible. And I think, under Sunshine, once we do that, I could share it with you and the manager, right? Mayor Nickerson, yeah, so, and other people too. I mean, we might want to bring in, some of the other.
Yeah,
departments
I think we'll have to
that are
do,
involved.
given with Sunshine, right, we're going to really have to have all done our own preparations. And
Yeah,
just be really prepared to have I mean, ideally that would just be the whole meeting from a timing perspective, because otherwise I think it's not going to get done, or we're going to be here all night,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we have to start with a robust draft. Someone has to bring a robust draft that we circulate in advance of the meeting, and then everyone needs to come prepared with their notes against that draft so that we can reconcile them in the course of the
Yeah.
meeting, be able to have a final document.
But you're just keeping in mind, so we can circulate a draft, but no one can respond.
yeah,
No, I'm saying everyone comes with their notes into that meeting live, and we can
Okay.
edit, as we've done before. Maybe someone can throw it into a shared format and we can
Yeah.
edit it in a live working session so that we can get a document done.
yeah,
That seems good
yeah.
with me.
And I think, again, to you, Mayor Omar, we can have reviewed this draft with you and the manager and Juan and the, grants and so on. So we can go into the meeting with a draft that's not only really solid from the point of view of me and Kristen, but also something that the village administration could get behind.
Yeah. How would that work, Mayor Nickerson? Are we able to send comments just on behalf of the task force, or do we need approval from the council?
You can send comments on behalf of the task force as long as myself and the manager are involved. Then we can do it that way.
Okay.
And
Great.
the task force is an independent body of the village. I mean, you can. I mean, I think you could on your own completely. I mean, do it on your own. But I mean, the other one, the other letter, I don't think required the council, as I recall, but it was, the task force wasn't just saying this is our opinion from discussing it at the task force. The task force also said, this is something that's really important to the village, and basically the mayor and administration agree. I forget the exact details. Maybe at some point the council voted, but they did not have to vote on the construction of it.
And the way that myself and Courtney set it up, like I said, we took a lot of the responsibility, I want to say power, out of the council. But I do want to say though that that's good until it comes down to like any money being spent. When money's spent, then I'll have to take it to the council if money starts to be spent, because that's taxpayer dollars. So
yeah.
Okay, great. Anything else on that? All right, I'm going to try to get us out of here. I know we were supposed to have a slightly shorter meeting, so maybe I'm going to try to get us out of here in the next like 10 minutes, if we can manage it. Okay, so we're set for January 12th as the next meeting. We're going to move on to unfinished business and general orders. I have an item in here. I know Kristen has an item, but I'll start with you, Mayor Nickerson, if you don't mind going through the review and updates of outstanding items.
for the outstanding items, we still have to talk about flood mitigation with the manager. I'll try to get her on in February, which I have here. That's what I put there. Okay, so that was, I thought, kind of January she wouldn't be able to come on. Myself and Dr. Moran, the village manager with NPDES, the Little River Historic designation. So it's a designation. The text notification service. So the text notification service, the funding comes in. I told you guys it comes in December. The funding comes in, I believe, next week. It's in my email. The funding comes in next week, which will be, it comes in like the 23rd, like a couple of days before Christmas, the funding comes in. So that'll be done in January when we come back. That's why I put January. The Fertilizer Ordinance, I know that Attorney Geller, he's already, like he left, I think last night, they're going on vacation. So I know that by the time we have our next meeting, which is what's the 12th now, he's not going to have it done by the 12th because I know that they get back in session and he'll be in Tallahassee. So that's why I put February for the Fertilizer Ordinance with Attorney Geller.
What does he need to have done? What needs to be done with by him on that?
He needs to check it against what already exists on any higher levels, like the state or the county, because the county just got one that they were working on also. So he needs to check it against that and then formulate it off of that, but not being anywhere like combative to those. So that's what he has to do.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all. But I just know how he works, and I know he's not going to have it done by the 12th.
Okay. Is that all the open items?
Yeah, I mean, the last two are ongoing. One is education of village residents. One is water quality, which is something that we want to tackle going forward as a task force. Water quality from El Portal, septic tank, stormwater, general trash, fertilizer, and that was A. And then under B, we had compact agreement how El Portal can work with other municipalities to improve their water quality. That kind of came out of the whole video with Hialeah. And then the one that you added last meeting, Madam Chair, was energy efficiency. That's something that you want us to kind of keep in mind going forward. That came out of because when we were talking about when Member Webb had his whole list, and we got to the part about the possible funding that we may get for the Village Hall, like upgrade of the $900,000, and then you said, well, can we have any type of like lead or
certified,
like
yeah.
LEED certified or something like that into it? And I said, well, that's not part of the the grant that we got. We have to see how much money we got coming in first to see that. And you said, well, I want to make energy efficiency part of our entire task force type of focus going forward. And that's the last thing.
Okay, great, thanks. I had just to jump off of what you said, the education campaign. I think a lot of our priorities that Matthew outlined, had in his great spreadsheet, really touch on education. Like stormwater, what we're putting on the streets ends up in the canals, the composting, energy efficiency. And I'm wondering if I can't remember, and I apologize if this has already been discussed, but where the texting, the emergency text service ended up. Are we going to have an app that would allow us to communicate about things like that, events and educational campaign outside of just emergency alerts, or is it just the emergency
it's for
alerts?
everything. It's for everything. So when we first started
Okay.
talking about it, we started talking about it from an emergency point of view, but then we said we can extend it and have it to where it's emergency, but also general information. So
Okay, yeah, I know Maribel put together all that. Maribel and Sandra put together all that great spreadsheet, but I didn't know if the council had picked an app that was broader or picked the more narrower avenue. Because if it's broader, then that really fits into our education campaign.
So what ended up happening was that, I don't know if you remember, but what ended up happening was that the council kept voting it down because they said that they didn't want to spend any village money on it. But myself and the village manager went out and got the funding for it, and we got we're putting it through the funding. And all I'm going to do is pass a resolution that says that that we're putting it through the funding, through the grant. So I'm passing the resolution based off the grant funding that we're putting it through,
Okay, so
and not based off of
picked
the county voting. The council voting on it because of taxpayer dollars. So I'm just doing.
Okay, but did we pick the program that we're going to be using yet, or is that still up in the air?
No, that's still up in the air because first the grant has to come in, and then we have to go with the program after the grant funding comes in, which is the 23rd.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so in January we'll revisit that. When everybody comes back in January, we'll revisit that one.
Okay, I just keep thinking about our education campaign and ways that we can educate the public, and something like that seems to be, would be a way that would help. And then I had two other things really quickly. The stormwater. So you said Manager Lou can talk to us about the stormwater MPDS permits in February or January.
Yeah, February.
Okay, great, because I think that really that fits into the education component a lot as well. And things like nutrient pollution from leaves ending up in store drains and things like that. I think that has an education component to it. And then also obviously El Portal's own MDDS, stuff with that. So I think that that's a really important conversation to have. And then the last thing, I know you and I got an email from Compost for Life about the village enrollment. And I guess only 3 people in the village have enrolled in the composting program. And I just wanted to bring it to the task force as ways that we could potentially expand the membership in the village, ideas for either getting the word out or encouraging people, anything like that.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me finish passing out all the items because they're not all passed out yet.
Okay, gotcha.
So let me finish doing that. Let me finish passing that out. And then what I was going to do, I was going to pass that out. And then maybe 2 months from now or something like that, or 3 months from now, I was going to do the same thing again.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
It's not all passed out. It's like not even probably 25% of the village I've hit. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
No problem. That's actually very reassuring. Okay, that's all I have. I know, Kristen, you had some stuff, but is it unfinished business or new business? I guess it doesn't really matter.
Actually, I think what I want to talk about, I can talk about in
Oh,
good
hold on
welfare.
one second, Matt. See, somebody wants to say
Happy
hi.
holidays, everyone.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Good to see everyone. Bye.
I'll be there in a second. All right, thank you.
Are
Okay,
you doing another meeting right this second, Omar? Like you do have a 5 o'clock meeting? All right.
Okay. All right. Anything else on unfinished business?
No,
Okay. Anything on new business?
no,
Okay. Good and welfare.
yes.
Go ahead.
So I just for the record want to say that Hugh and I, as Hugh mentioned, we were both at the Pelican Harbor donor event for the capital campaign on Sunday. Very well attended, about 150 people. They raised $250,000 during the event through their 2 major foundational donors were there. And then all the money that was raised that day was matched by one of those foundations. So it was very successful. They sent out a press release yesterday, the day before, saying they had crossed the halfway mark in their capital campaign. So, and the other thing I think was really cool, you mentioned that Drew, the director of the Stormwater Water Management, was there, but there were a lot of the Miccosukee were there. They had tribal elders there. Like there were a lot of really interesting people. The archaeologist who's working on the site was there and brought artifacts. I mean, it was, I had the feeling that it was really, their story is really compelling. The river story is really compelling. The fact that it's happening at such an environmentally sensitive moment and such an environmentally sensitive spot is like, for me, one of the most hopeful things that's going on right now in the midst of all this climate change. So anyway, it was really good. And I just wanted to share that with the committee. I think it just continues to me to feels like a galvanizing event that's going to pull a lot of attention and put a lot of attention and focus on the river in a way that's going to really help the goals that we have, even with the delicate balancing act that South Florida Water Management has to do, and with these development interests that are already, happening across the river. Like, I just think it's a very strong anchor in a kind of blue-green future for this whole area. So I felt good about it.
Was it at the site, at the new property?
It was at the site. Yep. It was at the site.
Nice.
Mhm.
You?
Yeah, just a quick footnote. I had a really good conversation with their archaeologists working there. It's separate from the issue of our compliance with the archaeological zone, and I still need to be updated, or you and the manager, I wanted you to update the task force at some point. You did some, but what that is, but he works with Bob Carr, the former county archaeologist, the author of the great book on Miami archaeology, Digging Miami, and he's very interested in working with us too. So maybe through the Conservancy, so that because he kept talking about the fact that over there supported a permanent population of 200 to 300,000, or 200 to 300 people, not for a long period of time, but in the typical fashion, that was the place where people lived, and food, and most of the stuff on the ground is from food, oyster shells. But we were like the Miami Circle side. Our side had the burial mound. It was a more ceremonial one, so that was good. So that's to be continued for the future. But I had one other thing. Please, let's update the web page. The web page that refers to the task force needs to be updated with the new members and member bios and things like that. It's sort of a problem when I have to, because I constantly have to give people links to the page, and so anyway, thank you. That's it.
All right. Anything from any task force members on today's agenda? No? All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Hearing none, the task force meeting is officially adjourned at 5:21 PM.
Thank you, guys. You guys take care.
Awesome.
Great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Take
Have a
care,
good
Bye,
everybody.
nice to
Have a
see
good
you,
holiday.
Elizabeth.
Take care, bye-bye.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.